So, before I torture myself anymore, hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays, and whatever you believe in. I don't care anymore after seeing this garbage. But no, um, tomorrow, this video, tomorrow after this video, the new movie. Currently, it's new. I don't know. You could be watching this in 3040. Freak, I don't know. Um, the Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker is coming out, and so, hey, why not do a Star Wars video? Cause I'm kind of a fan. I'm a bit of a fan. Not a huge fan. That's not my favorite fandom of all time. No. It's that, but I do like me some Star Wars. Now, I haven't always been a Star Wars fan. I think I've been a Star Wars fan since around, sometime after this channel got started, actually. And I'm not talking August 2017, I'm talking January. I think it was sometime during that. I'm not sure what the main influence was. I think it was my friend Graham. He's been in some of my videos, you've seen him, and I've been in some of his. And, he is actually the main reason I know of Star Wars in the first place. Because if I didn't meet him, I probably wouldn't know Star Wars until a good few years after, before I would know what it was, because he was in my life. And also, my father was actually a bit of a Star Wars fan when the original trilogy was coming out. And he even saw the first one, A New Hope, as it's called now, since 1981. He got to see it for his birthday. So hey, that's cool. And if I had to list like my favorite Star Wars movies, well, I'm just gonna say this now. My favorite one is Return of the Jedi. Episode 6. But if I had to list them all, it would, of course, start with Return of the Jedi, then Empire Strikes Back, The Phantom Menace, A New Hope, Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones, The Force Awakens, Solo, The Last Jedi, which I cried to, Don't Judge Me, Luke died, I got sad the way they did it, I cried, I said something stupid, it was the best movie I've ever seen, because I didn't want to spoil it to my dad. And I hate myself, I want to beat myself up. Anyways, after The Last Jedi is Rogue One, which I never finished because it was boring. And at the bottom of the barrel, of course, we have... What's that say? What's that say? Of course it's the freaking holiday special. It's terrible. And, I'm just about to explain why, but seriously, this is terrible. Yes, I'm going to be calling it a movie. I don't know what else to call it, so just call it a movie. Now, if you haven't heard of this rancid thing, then let me give you some insight. And I'm not going to be going over the history of the production of this thing, because that could be an entire video on its own. But what happened was that it aired on Friday, November 17th, 1978, or the week before Thanksgiving, and was broadcasted on CBS. It was pretty much forgotten after that, but tapes wouldn't resurface until the early to mid-90s and were soon duplicated and sold to fans that wanted to watch and own it. Many fans and non-Star Wars fans have trashed on this thing for years at this point. One person in the AV Club wrote, "I'm not convinced this special wasn't ultimately written and directed by a sentient bag of cocaine." Yikes. But after witnessing this unholy travesty, it's more than an understatement. So, what of my thoughts of this unholy, rotten turd doused and pissed? Well, why don't we find out, shall we? So the first thing we see is something you'd actually find in Star Wars. Unbelievable, I know, and it's pretty short. Han and Chewie are being chased down by the Empire and Star Destroyers, with Chewie trying to get back to his home, I assume in Kashyyyk, but only A New Hope was out at the time, so who knows? Han goes with lightspeed right into the credits. Now we transition to Chewie's 80s studio apartment, house. Look at this thing.
How much did Chewie have to pay to afford a house like this? Whatever, now we're introduced to Chewie's family. His wife Mala, his son Lumpy,
and his father Itchy. They know Chewie's actual name is Chewbacca, right? I guess his family also has shortened names or something. I don't know.
but what we do know is that Lumpy is a big lumpy pile of hot steamy dog crap. He is easily my least favorite character in the Star Wars franchise, and I think Jar Jar isn't all that bad. Lumpy's just whining and playing with his toys without caring about Itchy's privacy. After Lumpy starts walking on rails and is under the risk of falling to his demise, Jesus Christ, he then goes downstairs to watch this circus thing on the counter. What? Star Wars? What does any of this have to do with Star Wars? Star Wars is full of action, lightsaber duels, and character development. What does any of this have to do with the Empire and Rebellion? Nothing. Absolutely no. God dang it. Don't you hate it when your choir group chat starts a conversation in the middle of a recording and they won't shut up? Anyways, if I had to describe what happens in this, boring interactions, a character watches something, wash, rinse, and repeat. I know I mentioned character development earlier, but it's not even present in this. The main heroes we all know and love make very small appearances. Han and Chewie trying to get Chewie's house and family, we already established that. Luke and R2-D2 are repairing the X-Wing or something, I don't know. And Leia and CPO are preparing the holiday celebration that this thing is about. Life Day. We don't know much about it, even when the movie ends, but I guess it's some Jedi holiday? I don't know. The main movie is focused on the Wookiee family, and they suck. I already talked about lumpy piece of dog crap, but the rest aren't much either. Mala is basically Marge Simpson, and Itchy is just a grumpy old man. There's also another character introduced, Son Den, a human trader that tells them Han and Chewie are just late. He also comes by to their house to give them gifts for Life Day, but he has to stay there due to Empire demands or something.
Hold on. I'm jumping farther into the story than where I should be, because where than I was before. So why don't we get back to that, shall we?
After Lumpy is done with his long circus show, Mala decides to call Luke to see if he knows where Han and Chewie are, but Luke doesn't know either. Also in the scene, Mark Hamill looks really off. It looks like he's wearing makeup or something. In fact, he may have been. You see, Hamill was in a car crash on January 11th, 1977, which really impacted his face, since he broke his cheek and nose, and then they had to, take cartilage from his ear and put it in his nose. It was some process. This didn't impact A New Hope. I mean, he just had, a couple scenes to film. But this did impact, this, and it's pretty obvious that he has makeup on. Speaking of off, his lines, the way they're delivered, he sounds like a pedophile, murderer, something along those lines. I mean, you're here too, right?
You don't know where he is? Oh, he's not there yet, is that it? Oh, boy. Well, all I can tell you is that he and Han left here on schedule. If he's not there now, they're way overdue. They must have been in trouble. Come on, don't look so worried. Now, Chewie's not going to want to come home to a house full of long faces, is he? Come on, Mala, let's see a little smile. Come on. There, that's better. Try to enjoy your Life Day. I got to get back to this engine. I think we might have it solved.
You know Son Dan, that character I mentioned from earlier? Well, he's found selling something, and when he is called upon by Mala to know where Chewie is, he just carefully says that he and Han will be arriving soon.
Now, I haven't mentioned this, but all of this is happening extremely slowly. That's why I've been asking all these questions and saying all of these statements, because the movie is so boring. It feels longer than it needs to be. And it's not even 100 minutes. Just barely.
After that, Mala goes to the kitchen and attempts to make a dish by watching a cooking show, starring...
Yeah, excuse me, Mr. Christ, is it okay if I say your name in vain? I'm sorry, it's just, it's just, what I'm looking at is utterly terrifying and disgusting. Thank you. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday, whatever. Jesus, merciful the Christ, what am I looking at?
I don't know what to say about this. It just grows in weirdness after that. Like it goes,
Of course, if your family has a hearty appetite, I would suggest then that old popular holiday favorite, the Banther Rump.
then it's all like,
Stir, whip, 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 stir. Stir, whip, 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 stir. Come on, faster all together now, cooking can be fun. Stir, whip, whip, stir. Stir, whip, stir. Wah! Having fun, all right?
help, I need an adult. Son then crashes at the place and is like, sup bro, here's some presents, my dudes. Not actually, but it'd be more interesting than this. I mean, it's far from what Star Wars was and should ever be. But yeah, so Son brings gifts for each member of Chewbacca's family. Lumpy gets some programming device or something, Maul gets some weird futuristic contraption, and Itchy gets something that looks like a futuristic version of those things old women use at barbershops. You know, those thingies? Son doesn't really give a good description of it. He just says,
I thought you might like this. It's one of those, it's kind of hard to explain. It's a, wow. You know what I mean?
Boy, I wonder what it could possibly be. Now, when I was first watching this, I assumed, like, it was either a virtual reality game, a trippy drug light show experience thing, something like that, or porn. So, let's find out.
Searching, searching. I am here. My voice is for you alone. I am found in your eyes only. I exist for you. I am in your mind as you create me. Oh, yes.
Sean, you gave a Wookiee porn.
wow. I knew porn had boomed in the 70s, but I never suspected it would leak into Star Wars. To stop joking around for a second, it's not actually porn, even though it sounds a lot like it. It's actually more of the second thing I said, a trippy light show thing. But seriously, what were they thinking? I guess it was considered okay in the 70s. Han and Chewie get out of hyperspace near Kashyyyk, but notice an Imperial presence in the area, so they yeet themselves away to an unguarded area. The family hears the roaring of a ship, presuming that it's the Millennium Falcon, but it turns out to be a bunch of Imperial officers and stormtroopers. How fun. They barge in like the FBI and search for Chewbacca because of course they do. So Mala and Son try to distract them by giving them food and showing them a song by, believe it or not, Jefferson's Starship. The song is actually quite good, and easily one of the best parts of this pathetic pile of putrid puke piss puddle.
Did you hear that? That's alliteration. Alliteration is where you say a phrase where all the words start with the same letter. And yes, the movie got me bored to the point where I taught you something about figurative language that you probably already knew.
It's pretty absurd watching this music video here since, well, you know, it's Star Wars. After it ends, they continue the search. Lumpy gets on a video watching device for whatever reason to watch a Star Wars cartoon based on one of the Star Wars group's adventures, I presume. The cartoon is hands down one of the best parts of this entire thing, even though it's bad. I mean, it's actually something Star Wars, so that's something to speak of. I'm not going to go too in-depth, but it has something to do with Talisman and Luke rescuing Han and Chewie, but they also meet a fan-favorite character making his first appearance here, Boba Fett. Boba Fett says that he's a friend to them, but then everyone soon realizes he's working for Darth Vader, which nowadays everyone already knows that, but back in the day, I bet some Star Wars fans may have been watching this, and it must have been a huge plot twist, and they actually got interested in this thing because this is boring. Also, by watching this, you may notice that it looks, well, bad. Mainly Harrison Ford here. Why does he look Asian? Harrison Ford doesn't look Asian in the slightest. Why is he like this?
And I'm not trying to sound racist or anything, because if you think that I'm actually saying this because of racism or something like that, and you think the statement is racist, then you probably think that vaccines cause autism. But I mean, some people will think that I'm Asian, but I mean, look at this lovely art by this lovely person. Do I look Asian in that picture? No, I look like I belong in the PlayStation 1 classic, Parappa the Rapper.
After that, Lumpy starts to build a translation device to fool the stormtroopers, I guess. But he has to watch this tutorial video of a guy having a stroke. I'm serious, look at him! I'm guessing he's had a malfunctioning droid or something? And it's super boring because it's a tutorial video that you don't understand. I had to read the plot on Wikipedia to understand the story. I mean, when I first watched this, I thought he was building a toy or something. Then fast forward a bit and we find B. Arthur from the Golden Girls running the Mos Eisley Cantina. What a world we live in. Some dude with a volcano head thinks she loves him, but B denies this. She has to make everyone leave because of curfew or something on Tatooine. She sings a farewell song because nobody is leaving. In fact, more people are coming in. And I was thinking this was okay. But then I remembered something. Something extremely important. Something that is more important than the fabric of the universe that we live in. This is Star Wars! After that nonsense, Lumpy actually puts his skills to use with the device. It somehow works, but one stormtrooper becomes suspicious and finds that they were tricked by Lumpy, destroying the machine too. Han and Chewie finally arrive and dispatch the stormtrooper. The family is happy that Chewie is back. Han says the thing, and Han says,
And may the Force be with you.
Did you just hear what I think you just said? Huh. Well, that's interesting, you know. 'Cause it's about time!
Then this thing happens. Then we're at the ceremony with Wookiees wearing robes. The other Star Wars characters are there too. Leia sings a song, and we end with Chewbacca and his family praying or something at the dinner table. Credits. Can I die now?
Well, I just wasted 98 minutes of my life. Overall, well, I'd say that this movie is freaking terrible. The plot has nothing to do with Star Wars. The characters aren't fleshed out in the slightest. And there's random moments that have nothing to do with anything. Only watch this if you're really, really sick and have nothing else to do. If you watch this video and decide to watch the movie next, don't do it. It's like I jumped off a bridge and you're with me in the hospital and I'm telling you about the experience of jumping off a bridge and why you shouldn't do it, but you just do it anyways. That's like if you just went and watched the holiday special after me telling you about it. Or maybe you've already watched it and like we both deserve an award. Just you, between you and me. And technically, it's not even a movie. I've been calling it that, but really, it's just a special. And yeah, there are much better Christmas specials. Actually, just holiday specials. Like I'm not talking about like during the holidays, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. No, I'm talking about like Halloween, Leprechaun's Day, like including all of those in this round bag. Cause like Jesus. Like, you remember last year for my Halloween special, 2018 Halloween special? Yeah, like, it's not that great. But compared to this, it's way better than it. It's Citizen Kane compared to that. And, I used to, like, think, like, because I had seen the two movies that I had watched to the end was The Seed of Chucky and Jaws the Revenge, and I hate those movies, but look, holiday special, Jesus Christ, yeah, it takes the cake. it sets a bar so low. It's as low as you can go. It's like video games, like entire electronics, video games. Jesus Christ, I don't even think they count as games. Video games. And like, it is literally the worst film I've ever seen. Let me just say that. I mean, there's probably something worse. I mean, some people will say Plan 9 from Outer Space is worse, but I mean, that actually is pretty cool. I mean, yeah, it's laughable, like, so bad it's good, but I think it's still interesting, you know? And if I had to give this thing a rating, because, you know, I do that, I'd give this foul bag of piss powder a 2 out of 10. Yeah, 2 out of 10. Only the cartoon and the Jefferson Starship song are slightly decent. And yeah, they're slightly decent. I'd recommend checking those out. I mean, if you're a fan of Jefferson Starship and you like Star Wars cartoons or something like that, like Droids and whatever that other one was. And, you know, they're just like, I'm really under a lot of stress on this, so I'm just gonna friggin' play a game.
Man, I love me some Sonic Adventure. Anyways, hopefully you stuck around, watched this to the end, and I'm appreciative for it. Hope you have a happy holidays, and hey, just want to say, see you later. Because, I mean, hey, it's a... I'm gonna be reviewing Sonic's Christmas Blast next. Whoa!